Yo, what's poppin'? All my peeps, it is I, your host with the most, Renaissance man, who always thinks he can, and champion of the peeps, Patty Pitts, back in the yard of streams for another edition of Pitts and Sara's Wrestling Show, Raw Rewind, where we take no nights off, okay? And you can't be rewinding Raw, talking the WWE draft, unless you got the best of the West that you can't forget about with you. Sara Marshall, what's popping, girl?
Hey, yo.
Hello.
Hi. What's going on? It's a Wednesday.
I know.
It's weird, all right? Things are weird, all right? It's been a weird weekend. We had drafts, plural, because not only did the WWE have a draft, the NFL had a draft. Sara was paying way more attention to that than I was, okay? And I was paying a hell of a lot of attention to the WWE draft and then trying to work a full-time job. And yesterday, we were both pretty much zombies when we came to a discussion about if we're going to record. And we both just were like, no, we're not in the mood. We're not in our best selves. Okay. I slept for what's like 8 o'clock to like 2 in the afternoon. That's like at least 15 hours, right?
18.
Jesus. Yeah, 18. I slept 18 hours. And Sara's actually working. So we've been busy. All right. We've been very busy, and we decided today is the best day. I just climbed out of the underground. That's where I was before this, down in Philly, and now I'm here talking wrestling. So that's a little bit of insight about things.
I feel like I still haven't caught up on sleep.
Oh, your day off. That's my days off.
I haven't had a day off since last Wednesday. So
wow.
I'm very much looking forward. Or last Tuesday, I was off on Monday and Tuesday of last week because I had to work Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday for the draft.
Mm-hmm.
And normally I work Sunday to Thursday. So now I'm working Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So I don't get another day off until Friday. Yeah, I wrote like 35 articles in like 3 days. Like it was just a lot. So it was good. I mean, it was my first draft covering the draft for Musket Fire. But yeah, it's a lot. So
no, it's a lot. And that's the thing. It's like we're not complaining about doing anything.
Yeah, it's just like
we love it. Right?
Yeah, sometimes you're just not like, because the thing is, we appreciate the people who will sit in here and watch us no matter how long we're on. I don't want to be here if I'm just kind of like, because like I wouldn't want to watch someone who doesn't want to be here or doesn't want to be talking. So it's like I try to think about that too, because if I'm not in the mood, then I'm not going to be I'm not good at faking. Like,
no, you're authentic.
Yeah,
I think that's the best quality a person can have. Like you're authentic, and we, try to portray that to the peeps.
Yes.
And things are it's busy for good reasons. And that's why, we waited till today because we have a lot to talk about. There's a lot going on. Good things. Good things in wrestling. Starting with, you know what? No, back up. You're going way too fast. See, I get told this at work all the time. Just slow down. We have to hear from our peeps. What's up, Jay? Richard, solid Raw. Me too. I thought it was a solid draft all around. I don't know. You have to show us. Excited for I'm excited for Dynamite in general. I'm very I know that's very hard for you to say, but I would say I'm interested. I need to know what's going on.
I'm so beyond over Tony Khan. Like I can't even explain to you. I can't.
I love the effort, but I don't like the execution.
He just wants to be Vince McMahon so bad.
But that's what every outside promoter wants to be. Vince just perfected it.
Yeah, but
that's it.
But
he's not doing a good job of it.
No,
I'm so there for the effort, but the execution is so poor that you're like a cheerleader.
It's because it's a fan's attempt at trying to do it. That's what it is.
Yeah, he's doing. It's not smart.
He's a mark. That's what he is.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, but I don't own a wrestling promotion, so
We
The-
did kind of have a nice run with the NWF. We got to resurrect that with
yeah,
the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles winning the tag team titles. We
yeah.
need to bring that back. Like once we can clear things. I just started actually playing 2K, and I created the
Oh,
Road to the Show guy. I'll stream it once I get the ropes going. But it's Peep Peep Deep PPD. Um, and it's a storyline the storyline in 2K this year. So they have a men's and women's, and the men's one is just really boring. I like the women's one a whole lot better. But the men's one is Roman just vacates the title and says, like, I'm done. I beat Cody at Mania, and there's no one else for me to beat. Like, it was very realistic
that
stuff.
was like what I said Gunther was gonna do,
It
but
was like that. And then they have a tournament at SummerSlam, and you're William Regal's protege out right now. And I played one match and lost, so I rage quitted, and we have to win. So that's where we're at right now. I might do that on the next stream. Who knows? I'm so behind on all the nonsense stuff. But yeah, all right. Oh, there we go. Now we can get to the draft.
So okay, so the draft started on Friday, and people were kind of disappointed, I would say. And I think because the thing that I always struggle with is kind of like with people build up these expectations in their head about how something is supposed to be, and then when it's not like that, they act disappointed, and I feel like they kind of act more disappointed than they actually are, because one of the main things that people were complaining about on SmackDown was they felt there weren't enough switch ups. There weren't enough people who were going from SmackDown to Raw and Raw to SmackDown. And so they were like, okay, well, what was the point of the draft? Right. Like, okay, we were hoping that, or not we, because I didn't really mind how everything went. People were then saying, okay, well, maybe they'll change it up a bit on Monday. And I would say for the most part, they did change some stuff up, and I think like Sean Ross Sapp like totaled it. It was like over 40 superstars or something changed shows.
Yeah,
So it
exactly.
was like people were complaining about it, but it wasn't actually true. I think it's kind of like how people imagine the Raw after Mania. Like they want to see like 8 surprise call ups or like debuts or returns, and then when it doesn't happen, they're like, it was shit. And it's like, no,
That's not
you
what
know
it's
what I mean?
about. You have to layer the foundation first.
Yeah, so I think with this, people were just wanting to see like everybody change shows, and it was like, but we have to remember, like, this isn't right after WrestleMania. It's a few weeks, and there are still lingering storylines going on right now. So moving people who are in the midst of a storyline makes absolutely zero sense. Like, you're not going to do it. So yeah, these people are going to stay on Raw, and yeah, these people are going to stay on SmackDown because they have to. So so on Raw, I would say we did get some more changes, but I'm just gonna go over everybody who changed shows. We're not gonna do it by like what happened on SmackDown, what happened on Raw. So first, I want to talk about the picks, because we had people on Raw that made the picks. So we saw the return of Stephanie McMahon again, and of course, everybody else was just like the nostalgic
Bring
return, I
back,
guess.
yeah.
Yeah, like the APA, the Dudley
That was
Boys, Alundra
awesome.
Blaze, and Teddy Long. I did like these picks. I feel like better than some other picks in years past, but I think that you kind of expect it to be these people. You know, it's not like, oh, Tori Wilson was there one year or whatever. It's like I think that it's kind of cool that we kind of don't really know. You know, that it's not the same
Yeah.
like the way that they did with like the women's Royal Rumble. It's like always the same surprise women.
Yeah,
So
like
it's like, okay, cool, Molly Holly again. You know what I mean?
the
It's like,
amount of times I've seen Molly Holly over the years is insane.
yeah, it's like it's cool, but like not as much. Okay, so then we saw the people who got moved from SmackDown to Raw. Braun Breaker, which was hilarious because that was like such a big storyline. Like,
That was
where's
so
Braun
funny.
gonna sign? And then it was a big deal that he signed with SmackDown. Only for like a month later, he goes to Raw.
Like
But
that was brilliant. That was well done.
I mean, sure.
That
We
was
saw
well
Alba
done.
Fire and Isla Dawn, Damage Control, Braun Strowman, the LWO, thank goodness. The Final Testament and New Catch Republic. So they will all be moving to Raw. I feel like that's okay. I feel like
I like them on Raw.
I feel
Finally.
like the whole group like I think it makes sense. Like, I guess when you look at it on paper, it doesn't look like that many people, but it's because there's groups. Like Damage Control is a group. The LWO is a group.
Group.
The Final Testament,
Weird.
a group, you know?
Weird that the LWO got drafted and Carlito. Like, didn't Carlito?
I think he's like still there because they haven't dealt with him yet. But
That's so.
yeah.
That was just the weirdest thing to rewatch. I was rewatching it like before I went in the
Mhm.
underground, and they said and Carlito, and I didn't get it at first on Monday, and then rewatching, like, wait, yeah, that makes like he's kind of the asshole in this. That
Well,
is
that's what I'm
more
saying. Like
legato.
they have to keep it together though, right? Because
It's
like
so
that story,
interesting.
we want to see that storyline pan out.
Yeah, you got to
I,
have a payoff.
I'm just glad that they separated Legato and
They needed
LWO.
to.
They had
Yeah.
to.
Talk about listening to their audience and having eyes on Twitter. Like they
Hmm.
know what they're doing.
Yeah, but then remember they, oh my god, WrestleVote said that they hear us about Def Rebel guys. So anyway.
Yeah, Helen Keller hears us about Def Rebel.
Yeah. I think that the NXT call-ups were really good for Raw as well. We saw Kiana James.
I love that. I'm so happy for
I knew
Kiana
you,
James.
yeah.
Yeah,
Lyra
there it is. Yeah.
Lyra Valkyria. I have to
Yes, I
remember.
love that one. Your girl.
Ilya Dragunov
Oh, I jumped ahead.
and Dijak. Am I
No, you
forgetting
missed
somebody?
one.
Who am I missing?
Yeah.
Who am I missing?
Blair Davenport to
No, she's
SmackDown.
not SmackDown. I'm talking
Oh,
about
you're talking
Raw.
Raw only. My bad. My
Yeah, I'm talking
bad.
about Raw. So, I think the ones that were more surprising was probably Kiana and Lyra. I think those are the ones that I think that were like, oh, okay, like not bad, but I feel like
No,
you,
yeah.
you
Like,
knew
oh,
Ilya was getting called up,
exactly.
obviously, and you knew Dijak. It's like it was like surprising, but not. It was like, okay, cool. Like he fits
Well
Raw.
deserved. He needs to be on
Fits
Raw.
Raw.
He's so good.
But I like the women that were called up because I think they were more unexpected. Like we'll talk about SmackDown with Blair, but it I like it. I think that they could be like good additions to the Raw roster. And so I'm like excited to see, maybe we see Becky versus Lyra, like even throwing Liv into that mix as well. Even some of the other girls that were kind of in NXT, they could put on some good matches with them too. So I think they were good call-ups.
I love the Kiana James one. She has that type of presence of I'm a like big deal
Mhm.
VIP status, and that's what Raw is. Like if you like, she was bound to be called up because there was really nothing else for her to do in
Mhm.
NXT except win the championship. But as we know, you don't really need to
You don't
win
have
the
to. Yeah.
championship like to establish yourself.
Yeah.
And on Raw, she can do a lot with the Kiana James character to the point where she can have feuds with multiple people and even insert herself into things just
Mhm.
because of her character. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Her boss attitude and all that. Like she's a perfect fit on Raw, and she's great in the ring. Like she's really fun to watch in the ring. Dominant too.
I'm really excited about Ilya and Dijak too, because like there's not really anyone like Dijak
No,
right now. Like he just is, like he's not my favorite necessarily, but I find him interesting because he
exactly.
is different. So I'm really curious to see how they go about like what their plans are with him. I'm also interested in Ilya, and we'll dive into that a little bit later when we talk about Imperium. But they were already kind of teasing him versus Gunther or something. So I'm like,
Oh
all right,
yeah.
I'm not concerned about this guy at all because
No.
he's killer. So I'm like, just don't ruin his song, Def Rebel. Just let him keep his
No,
song.
keep it.
Just
Just be smart, please. Just
um
please.
and then let's talk about SmackDown. So SmackDown saw a bunch of changes as well. We see Nia Jax is moving to SmackDown, which
Thank God.
I think that's a good move.
So great.
And
I love Naya.
I am not a fan of Nia, but I'm much more of a fan of Nia this time around. It's like it's one of those things where she's someone who was around for however many years and just kind of like never really did anything, or it just never hit. And then she comes back, and it's not like it's not like the ascension of Cody Rhodes or the ascension of Drew
No, yeah.
McIntyre. Like I'm not saying that, but like I don't know if it really is just the Triple H effect with
I think
these
it is.
people, but it kind of feels like that with Naya because I'm like, I think you're seeing more personality from her, and I think she's doing a really good job at being this heel side of herself. That it's actually she's more entertaining than she's
Yeah,
ever been.
the way she was booked before with Vince in that era was that she wanted, or I don't know if she or Vince wanted it, but to be a monster,
Yeah.
like just dominant force, like I'm gonna kill you, Brian. Where Triple H is like, yeah, you can do that, but do it with personality. Like you
Yes.
can do that. Like her coming out and saying, Kansas City, you're so rude. Oh my, you're so rude. Like it's showing the personality that yes, she is a dominant force, but she has a little bit of tude with her, which is
Yeah.
exactly what you want from a bad girl. Like
Well,
I don't, and then the SmackDown thing of yeah, we're in blue because SmackDown better show. Like it's
yeah.
showing that there's more to her than just like not like most girls. Like
Well, and I think there's certain people that can live in the character that Vince wanted her to be, which was very much like, yeah, she's just the dominant female on the roster, and it's like she's serious and she just destroys you and whatever. And like that fits certain people, but I think it's becoming a little bit more difficult now because we've talked about this before about the availability of wrestlers to their fans 24/7. So it's like you can't be that type of character if you're not like that or portraying yourself that way online because people will see through it. Because you're posting yourself dancing and being silly backstage on your Instagram. And then it's like, but people are then going to have a hard time viewing that and then seeing you trying to kick ass on TV and we're supposed to take you
yeah.
serious. You know what I mean? Like there has to be a happy marriage there. But of course,
Mhm.
there's not every wrestler is like super into social media. Like Gunther is a very serious, like stoic
Yeah.
guy, but he only posts a little bit on Instagram. So it's like, okay, it works. You know what I
But it's
mean?
what he would post if he was this badass dude.
Yeah.
It's not like Gunther being a badass. He'd be like special Sunday with my like
Yeah. Like
wifey or something, and I'm in a
most of,
garden.
yeah. I mean,
It
most of the
makes
stuff
sense.
he shares is just like reposts of him kicking someone's ass,
Yeah,
or he
like
like
exactly.
reposts something his wife posted. Like that's it. So
Which is
like
what you would
there's
do.
no one questioning the validity of him being Gunther. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So joining Nia on SmackDown, we have Cedric Alexander and Ashanti the Adonis. I am here for this pairing. If you're not going to do anything with them, please put them together because that could be a banger tag
That would
team.
be a
Because
really good tag
Cedric
team.
Alexander is so good. I haven't seen enough from Ashanti, but I still feel like, come on, do something with these people, especially because you kept him after you got rid of,
AJ Francis, who's
yeah, you got
killing it in Impact, by the way,
so it's
killing
like
it.
do something. Then we have Shinsuke Nakamura moving again. Chelsea Green and Piper Niven, which kind of bummed me out only because we're not going to hear Samantha say her name
I know that
anymore.
does stink. I didn't think of that.
Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell, DIY, Tegan Knox, and Giovanni Vinci.
Your guy, the Italian Stallion,
So I
going to
have a lot.
my show.
I have a lot of thoughts on
How do you
this.
feel about that? What's going on in that head?
So, well, it's funny because I was getting like attacked on that video of I guess sent it to
Really?
you. Yeah, that one guy that I sent you, and he was
Yeah,
like,
he sucks.
yeah, but this is what's funny is we went back and forth, and then he was like, "You're cool. Like I'm subscribing." So he subscribed.
That's
Um,
incredible. Like,
yeah.
look at the aura that you present.
So
It's
I know,
incredible.
especially after I called him a weirdo, I was like, "Oh, he's a goner,"
No,
but no,
no.
he's fine.
Guys like being
Um,
called weirdos by girls. I don't know why.
so
That's just nature.
yeah, I'm not thrilled with Vinci being on SmackDown simply
Rude.
because this means that he will not be getting revenge on Kaiser or Imperium. So we won't be seeing like a Vinci versus Kaiser thing. So I'm kind of bummed about that just because, historically, you love seeing former tag team partners go after each other. Most of the time, they have really good chemistry and put on great matches because they worked so closely with each other. So I am a little bit bummed that they break up Imperium and then we kind of don't get to see the aftermath of that. But then also I think Vinci can be really good on SmackDown. I'm just concerned. That's all. I'm just worried
Fair.
about what they're going to do with him, and if they're going to actually allow him to show everything that he can do in the ring, allow him to maybe even go back to the character he was in NXT, because hello, he's an Italian model, he's hot AF, like let him do that, and it's hilarious. But also, like, let him speak on the mic, like let him show his personality. It's so funny. Like, the gimmick that like they wanted Austin Theory to be, it doesn't work with Theory, it works with Vinci. Like, let Vinci be the dude that, you know, like I sent you that video of him from NXT. He's in the parking lot. A girl asks him, I think I sent it to you. A girl asks him for a photo and he's like, sure. And he takes her phone and takes a selfie and then gives it back to her. And she was like, no, I meant like, can I get a picture with you? And he was like, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. It was just so like, it's so good.
Yeah, so I'm like, if we get that side of Vinci, then I'm okay with it. But you know, Triple H has done a lot better when it comes to these types of moves, but then we also saw, like, look at what happened with Cameron Grimes. Like, that could be Giovanni Vinci, and I don't want that to happen. So that is my concern. But we did see call-ups from NXT. We saw Carmelo Hayes, Blair Davenport, and Baron Corbin. So we knew Carmelo was coming up. Blair was a cool addition. Baron, we're gonna see how that works, because you know the fruits of his labor we're seeing in NXT, but it tends to like not come over to the main roster. And now his fellow Wolf Dog is on Raw, so we can't even have that reunion. Vinci and Mello, can we get that? Can we have
had
Vinci?
It before.
Yeah, and yeah, so I don't know, but Vinci was a heel, so I don't know if that's gonna work, because Mello is a heel right now too. So I don't know. But yeah, I think those were good call-ups to SmackDown too. I think that this is gonna make SmackDown a little more interesting. You know, they have a stacked locker room. Oh my!
We got a little $5 dono from Mr. Henderson. Anderson. Thank you. He says the draft was lame. I miss when they would use a computer to randomize the picks and they would show the superstar that was picked on the Titantron. I agree with that. That was a fun way, but if you kind of could see, they like mimicking pro sports.
Yeah.
Like really mimicking pro sports.
They had war rooms. Like
and the war rooms were hilarious to do a deeper look.
Yeah.
If you were trying to see, because those were definitely like PA writers or writers assistants that were just getting a payday.
Yeah.
I didn't see my girl Kirsten though.
I think
I didn't see her. I wonder if she was on there.
I did see other people say things like this too, and I feel like part of it is just that nostalgia factor, you know, where it's like people associate the draft with like how the draft used to be, so they want to be able to go back to that. So like I totally get it, because those were fun, but I feel they're trying to implement new things, and it's possible that eventually when they do drafts in the future they could go back to doing something like that, like if this doesn't
you never know
go over well long term. But
Dickie, another $5. Thank you. Triple H thinks long term, unlike Vince. That's why we saw limited changes. Plans are in place, not erratic. Exactly. There's a structure and a formula that we're following with these picks being chosen. You know, having DIY and Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae on the same show makes sense, not only for storyline purposes but for real life purposes too.
And Theory.
Oh, and Theory too is on the show.
So yeah, I think, and that's the thing, is like I understand that people are gonna there's always gonna be people that are gonna complain, because that's just how things work.
Nature of the beast.
But I think that people would have complained if too many people who were involved in a storyline that people were actually invested in got moved. People would be complaining way more, because then it would be like, okay, because like imagine if Liv got moved to SmackDown.
Like that makes no sense.
You know? And it's like, but that's what you're claiming you wanted. You wanted these big significant changes, and then look at like the repercussions of that. Like it doesn't make any sense. So I think it wasn't the time to do that, because also it's before Backlash. Like if this were like in a month or so, maybe they would have some more people that they could move, because they kind of closed the door on any of those lingering storylines from WrestleMania, but then it's like you said, like Richard said, they're still trying to implement these long-term storytelling, and we're seeing the benefits of that. So I think people are just not used to it, and that's why they're just complaining, you know.
Exactly. Yeah. I would
Are
agree
there
with
any
that.
other comments that you wanted to get to? Because I see like there's a bunch.
I feel bad for Nick Aldis spending months signing Braun to just get screwed by Adam Pearce. That
I
set up
know.
their match at WrestleMania. What are you doing? They're setting
It's like,
WrestleMania 41. Nick Aldis versus Adam Pearce.
yeah,
That would
I
be
agree. I think that was, I mean, it made sense, I feel like, because Braun does feel like Raw to me.
so raw.
Um, but I do think that it was kind of a silly thing because they did make it such a big deal when they brought him up and they were like, "Oh my god, he signed with SmackDown." And then it was like, "Oh, well, I'm going to match you and I'm going to bring Andrade to Raw." You know, it was like it was this whole thing, and then it literally, I think someone said it was like 70 something days later then he's like he's moving to Raw. But I mean, that is, I guess that kind of plays into like the whole draft thing. Like that does happen. Teams move up and steal the players that you wanted. So
Exactly. Like that's the real life element to
yeah.
all of this. Your right hand man, Sarah, says get rid of the damn tag team titles and do mid card women's title because these damn new ups either might be in a damn tag team with the random woman or damn NXT women's division getting a North American title. Okay, that was a lot to unpack, but pretty much
Get
what
rid of
I
them. Get rid of the tag titles and bring in mid cards is what he's
but
saying.
no, you can do both. You don't need
I
to like the
I
tag
think that,
titles are fine. You have plenty of women's tag teams.
well, it's not, that's not the issue. That's not what I think he's saying. The main issue that I'm seeing people talk about when it comes to the women's tag team titles is that they don't do anything with them. Like it will be for like a short amount of time, and then it's like you forget that they even exist, because like I totally forgot that the Kabuki Warriors were champions, because it's like they didn't defend them at Mania because they had the 3-on-3 match. And even before that, it's like, and they haven't done anything in nearly a month since Mania. So it's like, I think people just get so checked out. And because it doesn't seem like they're even prioritizing trying to make the women's tag team division better, that it's like, okay, well, if you're not going to do that, then get rid of the women's tag titles or even move them back down to NXT. And yeah, give mid card titles for the women, because at least then they'll push a single woman. So I think that's probably
I think
what
it's
he's
timing.
meaning.
To me, it's just timing. You know, with the WrestleMania, they had to get Jade, Bianca, and all that, and why
Yeah,
not
yeah,
just
yeah,
put
yeah.
them in? And
Yeah.
then you would obviously have them be in some sort of storyline with right now, which they are against Jade and Bianca for the tag titles at Backlash. The issue is that though it's it's kind of where do you put them, and I do like that they are on both shows because it shows that it's not like they can go to both shows and whatnot, and it doesn't, there'd be one wicked hot women's tag team that's killing it and on a roll on one show and not, and they face them. Like I like that element to it, and you don't have to only have the tag team and then not have the mid card. It's the mid card is inevitable. It's just about introducing it at the right time.
Well, and I've talked about it before that I think the biggest issue with the women's tag division is that they never seem to want to keep women in a tag team. They always seem to want to take these women and push them as single stars, and they don't do that with the men. Like they can recognize with the men, like, okay, no, these guys need to be in a tag team, because sometimes it's like they're not strong enough to go on their own, or at least not at this time. It's like eventually you might see, okay, we're going to split them up and see what this person can do. And then that's when the whole conversation comes out about who's the Genetti, right? But it's like with the women, they just want to always push the women individually. And it's like, but maybe there are women out there who are better served as a tag team than being, because if like, with Kaden and Katana, neither of them are ever going to be the top female in the company. So keep them as a tag team. But there's plenty of other women who are probably in that same position, but they want to like break them up for some reason. And it's like, yeah, but then you end up doing nothing with them, or you have them being a jobber, or you end up releasing them. Why not just put them in a tag team and legitimize them in that way? Because at least with Kaden and
Exactly.
Katana, you take them seriously as a duo.
Yeah, you do.
Like it's just I don't get it. I don't understand that. But um anyway, since we mentioned her as one of the picks, and then she was also there at WrestleMania, I just want to talk about Stephanie McMahon because we know that what was it, a year and a half ago or so, she stepped down from WWE very unexpectedly, completely left the company, and then was said to have had nothing to do with anything that was going on. Now that her dad is 100% out of WWE Endeavor, everything, because he sold all of his shares,
All of them.
she is back. And I feel like it's because her dad is gone that she's out. I feel like I don't blame her for wanting to leave if it had a lot to do with, my guess is that it had a lot to do with them selling the company and not allowing his own children that had been there, especially Stephanie, to help build up that company for the last 20 years. Didn't even give her a chance to be a part of that. But I like that she's around again because I feel like she brings so much more behind the scenes than it's like than just her having a random appearance and announcing draft picks. You know what I mean? Like, she's a lot more valuable behind the scenes, and so I really hope that this is a sign that she's going to be around, and it's not just the oh, we're gonna just send her out a couple times a year because she gets a pop. Like,
Yeah.
and
No,
not just because she's married to Triple H that she's around. It's like, no, I'd like to see her actually, like, not
which
necessarily
is
be in the same
good.
role if she doesn't want to be, but like have some sort of role in the company again.
Well, it's important for her to be around because of how inspirational she is to the talent that's in the locker room,
Especially the
and
women.
and she's been really helpful in advancing the women's division.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to have that presence around. From the human element, I don't know how often she needs to be there. You know what I mean? Traveling
Oh yeah,
300
yeah,
days a year. I think
yeah,
the good thing with her new role now is that she may have a role in the company. I don't know. But as long as that she is a face there and someone that people can go up to and talk to, that's all that matters at the end of the day.
yeah. Well, and that's what I mean. Like, she doesn't even have to be
Mm-hmm.
an active person like
No.
on the road or whatever, but it would be nice to hear that she does have some sort of executive role or something, because I mean, if that's what she wants, I mean, she
Mm-hmm.
might be loving that she gets to be like a full-time mom, you know what I mean? Because like she wasn't able to do that for so long. That might be what she wants to do because now, especially with Paul on the road all the time. So but anyway, I like seeing her around more, so I think that's pretty cool. And okay, then getting straight into Raw, we see Becky Lynch starts the show, and she's just a magnet for chaos, I would say, at this point, because now that she is the women's world champion, Liv Morgan, of course, comes out as she's speaking, and then Nia comes out not long afterwards. So we're seeing that people are going to get what they want because people were complaining about how the battle royal went about. They hated that Becky won the title over Liv, which don't even get me started. I cannot have that argument
You
again.
can't do it.
I
Cannot
can't do
do
it.
it.
And so I'm glad that we're seeing like, okay, no, we're still seeing that this is what the end game is. At least that's what it looks like right now. And we see obviously Liv accepts whatever challenge Nia was setting out there on her last night of Raw. So now that that's over with, I'm curious to see how this is going to go about between Liv and Becky, because we will talk about something else with Liv and Rhea. But I am curious about this, and I really do think that this is going to work out so well for Becky and for Liv.
You need to have this opening segment to establish. I think this is going to be the top storyline on Raw for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to start the show with that, and you like. I love the interaction between Liv and Becky because it's not about like them hating each other. Liv just wants that damn title so bad.
Yeah.
And it's yes, she wants it because of her own, personal interest, but to have what Rhea doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about that. That is the story right now with this feud. And to have it needs to happen because we've already seen Becky live, or have we, like in a regular singles competing? Like it would just be a good match regardless. And those are your two top stars, I would say, in the women's division on Raw right now.
They had a killer match. Yeah. Like,
Yeah, like
yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I
yeah,
remember that. Like
yeah. It was
they
just a
can
few weeks
cook.
ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So because of that, you need to put them in a little bit of a feud with each other to give them that feel and to put them over as the big stars. And there's a
Well,
like
and Liv is going to be the ultimate winner of the whole thing anyway, 'cause she's
exactly.
going to get the title, and then she'll probably hold it until Rhea comes back, and then that's going to be a really cool storyline too because of
Yeah.
what I think is going to happen. So, yeah, at least they're not abandoning it, you know, because there's so many people who are coming for Becky, and it's like, guys, like you don't understand the role that Becky plays in the women's division. Like,
Mhm.
and the irony in it too is the people that are saying it the most are people with Charlotte pictures as their profile picture. You
Is
know
it
what I mean? And I'm
really?
like,
Yeah.
it's just like the irony. I just want to be like, sweetheart, do you know who you're talking about? Like, do you know who your favorite is? Like, people thought Charlotte was gonna show up because she was like vacant title. Like, she could smell it from a mile away.
I'm not gonna lie, I did get caught up in that because she did come out of a backstage area with the apron or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I did get hooked there, and I did think that she was gonna come out at the end of the
Oh
match. I
God.
thought not like to win it, but I thought because have you seen the workout videos, the rehabbing videos?
No, I know it's crazy.
She's going miles and miles above what she was expected to be out for. Like
Yeah, and like that's
crazy.
awesome. I just hope that whenever she does come back, because it looks like she's staying on SmackDown. I mean, they didn't draft her, but
Good.
I'm assuming she is. I hope that they don't bring her back and then immediately put her against Bailey. You know what I mean? Like we don't need her in the title picture right now.
Put her against
So,
Jade. Put her against Jade.
well, I think they're gonna become tag team champions. So,
I can't wait for that.
anyway, then we move on to is Der Ring General Gunther
Like my
and
dog.
the small Imperium now, which is only Gunther and Ludwig Kaiser, who will be celebrating 2 years 2-year anniversary with Tiffany Stratton in a
Oh
few days.
yeah. In a
In a
few
few days.
days.
Did
I
you
did
see
see
her
that.
video or how they went out? They played rock paper
Such
scissors.
a ballsy way. That was so smart on Ludwig to play rock paper scissors. Like he chose scissors. Yeah, because scissors never wins. You
Yeah.
know they're gonna choose rock. He wanted to. It was that
Yeah.
dude's guy. He's a romance guy. He likes romance.
So we see the new Imperium come out, and Gunther is taking on Xavier Woods. And I just have to say, hello, Gunther, because this is the type of Gunther match I want to see all the time. I get it's like I'm so protective of him as if he gives up flying F. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't
No,
need.
but that's your dog.
But it's like I hate when anyone gets any sort of offense on him. Like I hate it because I'm like, no, this would not happen. You know what I mean? Like Gunther would not be getting knocked down by you right now. Like this would not be happening. Like it made me so mad, and it makes me mad like every time, even though I know it's like it has to, they have to go back and forth,
Mhm.
But I'm like, no, Gunther would never, ever. So basically, the entire matches, he just dominates Xavier Woods to the point of Kofi Kingston almost throwing in the towel, which he does not do. But this is the thing about Gunther that I think people undervalue. Okay. This dude does not have a single finishing move.
I was
He
just about
has
to
like
say this.
18. Okay. You never know when a match with him is going to be over. And as much as like some people hate that, which I think is kind of ridiculous, I love it.
Oh, it's
Because
awesome.
did anyone think that he was going to win last night that way or on Raw against Woods like that?
No,
No.
I was just about to say that you have no idea what this man's finisher be all end all move is because he wins matches with the most absurd moves. And by absurd, I mean just like out of your bag move you think's like a mid-match submission to just push it along. This
Yeah.
man was bullying him with the ankle, or what it was. No, it was a half Boston crab with
Mm-hmm.
a half Boston crab, and then you think he's gonna throw in the towel, and he's like, "I can do it." So I'm like, "All right, sweet." Wood's gonna do that. He's gonna get some offense in, and then when he's going in, something happens. Gunther hits him with a power bomb or something. End over. Gunther's like, "Okay, boom." He knocks him off a little bit, and he goes, F this, and just puts him in an STF and goes, "You're not leaving," in the middle of the ring. And
Yeah.
that's how he wins. Like, that's why I love Gunther, because it's not predictable. It's moves that he ends you with that make sense for how the match is going. Like, yeah, he's not gonna let Xavier Woods just get back to you, and Xavier Woods in, breaking the fourth wall would not like that either, because it doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, all right, you think you can do this? No, I'm gonna overtake and beat you with a move that is very similar, but like more of a, okay, this is 10 out of 10. You're not getting out of this. Like, it's very
Yeah.
logical.
Well, and I feel like it just fits his character because the whole thing is like he's a wrestler. He's not an entertainer. And if you really want to break it down, finishing moves are meant to be entertaining. They're not necessarily like the move that's going to put you away, because for the most part most people's finishers are not their like best move, you know what I mean? It's just like the most identifiable or the one that you can like connect to them, but it's not always like the one that's going to put them away. Not everybody. I mean, obviously there are some, but with Gunther it's like, no, it's exactly like what Chad Gable was saying when he was trying to hype up Sammy, right? It was like Gunther will do anything. He will take advantage of any moment. He will do whatever he has to do to put you away. And that's, yeah, he's not going to sit there and be like, I'm just waiting for my opportunity to put you in a stunner. You know, like, I don't mean any shade to anybody, but I just mean like if he sees you in a certain, a certain position or something, he's like, all right, I'm going to put you in a submission right now. Or, oh, I'm going to hit you with a power bomb. Or, oh, I'm going to jump off the top rope. Or I'm going to, chop you, like whatever. And I feel like it's so entertaining. I don't know why people don't like it, but to me, it's like a lot more fun to get into, especially for a match that if it's for somebody that you don't particularly care about. You know what I mean? Like, we were at Mania and we were watching Cody. When you saw that he hit 3 crossroads, you knew it was going to be the end.
It was
So
over.
it's like, and that match was great, but Gunther doesn't have that. So I feel like that's kind of fun. It makes him different.
Exactly. We need different.
But then I also wanted to talk about Imperium, since we are talking about Jay saying I'm never entertained by Gunther. I'm sorry, bro. You're really missing out. Man.
You really are. He's really cool.
So as of right now, we know that Imperium is continuing, but it is just Gunther and Ludwig Kaiser. But now everybody is talking about, oh, did Ilya get brought up to be the third member of Imperium? And I pray to God, as much as I love them individually and collectively, I do not want Ilya in Imperium.
No, he doesn't want to be an Imperium.
No, it's nothing against Imperium, but it's like he's too big on his own to be pigeonholed in a group. You know what I mean? It's like it's also not his vibe. Like, he comes out in this like big robe and he has classical music and he's like, you know what I mean? Like, he's a fighter. Like, it just wouldn't make any sense. And I think more people would rather see Ilya Dragunov versus Gunther than them being buddies.
It's so much better because if you've seen their matches against one another, they're meant to be rivals, not buddies. And yes, they may be similar in the foreign aspect, but if
it's like they're both European.
It's like, no, they're very different. Like, Ilya is made to be a loner, as just sad as that, morbid as that sounds. He's meant to be a standalone single star. Gunther is like Imperium, when you really think of it, is just Gunther and Ludwig's friendship in a group. Like, they're not a tag, they're just a group. They have the history together. Like, that's what really Imperium is. Adding Ilya is basically like another Vinci. Like, you're just adding someone to make a group, and they don't need that.
Well, and that Imperium is going to break up eventually. They didn't break up Vinci and Kaiser for Kaiser to just continuously follow Gunther around for the rest of his career. So it's like, that the inevitable is going to happen, where it might not be that Gunther and Kaiser necessarily like break up, but Kaiser's going to pursue things on his own.
Exactly.
So like, it seems like you were saying, basically, it seems like it'd be a giant step backwards for everybody to throw Ilya in there. And I think at the end of the day, people are just getting excited over the thought of Ilya being on TV, like on Raw. And so they're like, oh my God, put him in Imperium. But it's like, you're actually not thinking about like what that would mean.
They're not thinking.
All right. So before we get into comments, let's just get into this, and then we can get into the comments. Okay, Remy. Okay. So we see Logan Paul shows up to Raw with Speed. I can't. I just don't want to even talk about it. And Patrick
I think
Mahomes.
it was Speed.
No, it is Speed. I don't like him. He's annoying. And Patrick Mahomes just as annoying. So I thought that I can't stand Patrick Mahomes even more so after Raw. Like holy hell. Oh my god.
Oh,
Like
Sarah.
no, I can't. I'm sorry. I just can't.
It's all right.
Anyway, so Logan, first of all, we see the three of them show up to Raw and are like cool with Judgment Day, and I'm like, guys, you're disappointing me right now, but whatever. So Logan comes out with Speed and they announce the picks, whatever, but then they go and they go in the ring, they talk some trash, and then the Yeet Master comes out to like ruin their day. So then they go back and forth, and then Judgment Day comes out, they go after Jay. Logan then goes to Mahomes, who's front row, with his Super Bowl rings. And for some reason, Patrick Mahomes is a heel.
Yes, he is a heel.
In Kansas City.
No, he's a heel. He is the heel. Kansas City.
Not in Kansas City. No, he's not.
Yeah, you're breaking my brain. I don't know.
None of this made any sense.
It's nonsense. I know.
It didn't make any sense. Him being buddy with Logan Paul to then give him his Super Bowl rings to knock out like Jey Uso. Like, what are we doing, Patrick? Patrick, you're supposed to be that lovable Kermit guy. You're supposed to be like the Super Bowl quarterback hero. Oh my God, he's the GOAT. And you're teaming up with Logan Paul, who everybody in the WWE universe hates, against Jey Uso, who's like almost as big of a baby face as Cody Rhodes right now. And instead, you knock out my guy, JD McDonough, and leave him with markings of where those rings were. I do not appreciate it. I didn't.
Oh man, that was
bad. Like
WWE he pulled off the towel.
I know.
Oh my God.
I know. I felt so bad for him. I was like, why is it that they always make JD this guy? Like, why?
Mahomes is a Prime athlete. He's sponsored by Prime.
I'm not questioning him.
That's why he's buddy.
No, I'm not questioning his connection to Logan. I'm saying I don't understand why in Kansas City of all places would they have him like going against Jey Uso. Like, I just feel like, I don't know. It just felt weird because he can be there without being a heel. Why do I hate? First of all, I'm a Patriots fan, so I don't like me some Kansas City Chiefs. Also, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, some of the most annoying players in the entire NFL. I'm sorry, but like, I don't see anything likable about Mahomes. Okay, I just don't. I see nothing.
Bro,
I don't.
You asked.
I mean, I could go in more, but I'm not. I'm trying to be.
Get him, Sarah. Fucking get him.
That's right.
I have no.
I just want to tell you, the GOAT is Tom Brady, and who's the person who has beaten Patrick Mahomes in a Super Bowl? Tom Brady. Guess who never beat Tom Brady? Patrick Mahomes. Guess why that makes him who's the GOAT? Tom Brady. You can never say that Patrick Mahomes is the GOAT. I'm sorry, guys. We're not going to get into that argument today because you're invalid. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong if you think Patrick Mahomes is the GOAT. I'm just telling you right now. You're wrong.
What if he's the GOAT of Kansas City? Do you agree with that?
I'm sure. Is that really something you should be excited about? Like,
the Kansas City people.
Tom Brady is the GOAT of Foxborough. How many GOATs came out of Foxborough?
Well, there's Brady.
No, but
Kraft,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
Belichick.
He's the GOAT of the NFL. He's the greatest quarterback of all time. Let's not. Anyway, then we go after this, right? This was weird. Okay, the Patrick Mahomes thing is weird. Whatever. The whole thing happens with JD, and it's like, oh my God, I can't believe I accidentally punched JD. Jay then goes after Finn, but Judgment Day get the best of him, whatever. And then all of a sudden, Braun! Okay.
I loved it. I was so hyped.
But then this is also where you get the cringe, guys. If you're trying to ask me, why don't you like Patrick Mahomes? Because this dude did bet to Braun Strowman. Bro, sit your ass down.
What are you
Kermit.
gonna say? What are you gonna say?
I'm not gonna say shit to Braun Strowman. Sit down, Kermit. Sit down, bro. I wouldn't say anything. I would just be standing there and being like, hey, hey guy, what's up? I wouldn't be saying bet. First of all, ew.
He
Second
came
of
at
all,
his guy.
but like, sit down. Calm down, Patrick. Calm down. Okay, you got kids at home. You got children at home. Okay. But anyway, this was just a weird segment, and you knew that it was just because they were in Kansas City, so they're just trying to get a cheek
Wow.
pop. But it is what it is. Whatever. I didn't enjoy it, but maybe some people did. I guess I don't know. Okay.
I
I
have to
see we have a
switch
lot of
arms on my
comments.
title. I'm getting my
The
left
Samoan
arm
Watchman is here.
oh, my
He said
dog.
they both suck. Bloodline will build an AI Samoan Tongan football player and eat all the goats. That is true.
Imagine a bloodline football team.
No, I don't want
That's
to.
that's some nonsense sports right there.
Do you want to go through the comments? I
Yeah,
just saw that
sure.
one.
I had to
just
move mine.
I wanted to make sure to get to his comment because he's been commenting on some of the videos. So
I had to move my title to another arm because my arm was getting tired. I have to put that out there. Logan.
oh my gosh.
Didn't insult the crowd. I think that was on purpose.
Yes.
Yes, because Pat Mahomes is
Yeah.
a Kansas City. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
He knew his role.
You're connecting some dots, which is why they probably they're aligning with the heel. So
It's still just weird.
Mahomes it's
I don't know. It was just weird.
Nah, Ilya would never play second fiddle to Gunther. Exactly. Both of them are too great on their own. Although it would be nice to try to see one another up each other. Let's talk them facts.
That's right.
You'll agree with you about Tom Brady being the GOAT. Damn right. There's only one.
Yep.
But Tom Brady doesn't have a State Farm commercial. Yes, he has a Hertz commercial where he says his phrase that he made Hertz use as their slogan. Okay, talk about goat shit.
What is it? What is it?
Hertz's slogan is "Let's go."
Oh,
Hertz,
okay. I don't think I've seen it.
Let's go.
But then he has all sorts of other stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, way better endorsements from I don't know, car companies. You had a bed company,
and his commercials aren't like whenever you see them, they're not cringe or annoying.
One I don't like the Boston accent one that they did. It was like a Dick's Sporting Goods one, and they did like
that one was funny. Oh, that was like a video though, wasn't it? When the guy was like, "I can't understand you because your Boston accent." And the guy's like, "I'm not from Boston."
Yeah, I hate when people make fun of the Boston accent because it's just
that's existed long before you were alive.
I know it does, but
so then you're gonna have to get over it, bro.
It's just cringe on my part when people try to do it. It's like it's so bad.
That's the joke, though. I think it's like
it's
most
like
of the time anybody who tries to sound like they're from Boston, they have an exaggerated New York accent. That's basically what it is.
That's a good point.
Can you keep doing comments? I have to just run out for a second. I'll be right back.
You got it. I can keep listening to the peeps. Oh, okay. I was about to say, I was like, I'm doing it. All right. Let's see what we got here because Sara is taking a little bit of a break. That is McDonough's role right now. He takes the big beatings and eats most of the pins, so Dom doesn't have to. Exactly. Like he's the fall guy, and that's JD's role. That's totally fine. He needs to be that fall guy. That was how he got into Judgment Day. That's how he stays in Judgment Day. Everyone has a role in the faction. If you haven't noticed by watching wrestling for a long time, everyone in a faction has a certain role that they play. It happens everywhere, really. I know. Sit down. He should have sat down. He should have sat down when Braun Strowman came at him. Like, hello. If Braun Strowman's coming at you, are you going to stand up, get in his face? No. I am tucking it in between my legs, and I'm just, like, hobbling away. You don't come at a man that big of a size and think you're going to do any damage. You're not going to. So get over it. The State Farm, I mean, we're probably, let me see if it's in the banners. No, we're not, so I'll mention it here. Like when R-Truth said that the insurance guy Pat Mahomes was there, that was hilarious. Friggin' hilarious. He should, right? He absolutely should get Let's Go copyright. If not, he probably has already, or he struck some deal with Hertz about that. So do you think since Braun Strowman appeared on Raw already that he'll be part of the new Wyatt group? He'll be a part of it. That's probably a reason why they drafted him to Raw. One thing I could see is him not being the one who introduces it. I think that will obviously be Uncle Howdy.
Eric Rowan was signed also.
Yes, that's exactly. So it'll be like Uncle Howdy, Eric Rowan's character, whoever, and then maybe Alexa Bliss before Braun. You know, maybe to introduce her back onto TV, and then they'll come at Braun, and they may do some sort of storyline with him. I could see a match between him and Eric Rowan, and then him joining or something. But he'll definitely be part of the Wire Group in some way, shape, or form. All right, so you're back.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to, I just saw this as a talking point on Twitter, so I'm curious. So I think that when Jay first got moved away from the bloodline and he moved to Raw, that he was kind of like a more interesting character because of all of the fallout from him being a part of the bloodline and all of the guys that were in the Raw locker room who had an issue with him. And I'm not saying that we should still be there. Obviously, it's been a year or whatever it's been. But I do wonder if he's kind of becoming a little bit too one-dimensional. Like, he doesn't have to be actively involved in the bloodline storyline, obviously, because that whole thing is still going on SmackDown. But I kind of feel like he just goes out there to like entertain at this point, because all you ever hear him say is yeet. Like, he doesn't really say anything of substance. Like, there's just nothing really ever going on other than that. And I'm like, I don't know if this is something that people still do. Like, people still love it. Like, do they want more from him? Like, what?
It's crowd interaction. And
Yeah.
when you go, I mean, you heard it when we were at Mania. There's only 3 words or 3 phrases that people were chanting, and it was yeet, no yeet, and yeah. So because of that, it's just synonymous with him when he comes out to do that. And it makes it very easy for him to just cut whatever promo already in ring, because all he has to do is just follow the beat of the yeets. You just like, it makes it a lot easier to go out there, but it does get a little stale. I don't mind it right now because it's at its peak. Like, no one I can see in the crowd is bored of it. You know, maybe people on Twitter are, but like, I don't really take a lot of stock into that.
I was meaning it more of like him talking. Like, I don't have an issue with him like using yeet every now and then. I just think that it's every, like, you know, he was talking to Kathy Kelly and it's like blah 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 yeet, blah 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 yeet, yeet yeet yeet, and it's like, all right, God, like, you know, because it's like, it's on your shirt and it's on your glasses and it's like in, you know, you're out there and that's what you're doing. It's like, it's just too much. But I feel like if it just toned down a little bit, then
a little bit, I would like.
I think it's like, it's entertaining, and of course it's really fun to be a part of the crowd when he's making his entrance. I think that, like, if we're, I'm not saying it's so hard, because I think it's silly when people say you can't take him seriously, and I don't mean that you can't, but it's also like, it's almost becoming he's becoming too jokey. You know what I mean? Like, too unserious in a way, where it's like, I would like to see a little more or less yeets. And you know,
Let's see, it would be okay.
Yeah, I don't think that he needs to stop it altogether. Obviously, I don't think so. It's probably one of the biggest sellers on WWE Shop, so I'm not saying that. But like, maybe tone it down, just like 3 yeets a night, like just maybe take three away. You know, that's all I mean.
Fine.
Yeah, just 3 more. That's all. Oh, and I want to talk about this. So, this was something that I was getting into a little bit of an argument over somebody on YouTube the other day, because in the YouTube comments, because people were saying, or this guy was saying, that it was ridiculous to think that Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio were ever going to be something, because it doesn't make any sense for Dominic to do that with Rhea, and why would this be happening, and Dominic would never be into Liv. And then we see that they are in the background of a shot backstage, and we see Liv leave a locker room first, and as she's like quite a ways away, then we see Dominic come out. And so it looks like there is going to be some sort of angle with them, and I am here for it. And I just want to tell you guys that you should just refer to me as this now. That's all. Just, I am the learning tree. You're welcome. I have taught you something. I have taught you something. I am the learning tree. Okay? You should listen.
I joined this and saw that because I was trying to think of something to play before.
Darn it, I didn't want you to see it.
No, but no. I didn't know what it was.
Oh,
I just saw like letters. I'm like, what the hell is this?
it
And
stands for
then,
Chris Jericho. I am the learning tree.
oh my god, I didn't.
On the learning tree.
Oh my god, I didn't even.
So, basically what I'm saying is I am Chris Jericho because I am the learning tree, and you guys should just pay attention when I say things because a lot of the time I'm right. And when it comes to Liv Morgan and Dom having a potential love interest, it's happening, and I think it is so good. I'm not going to continue like reiterating the points I already made in that video. If you want to see that video, I will put the link in the description when I cut this clip. But yeah, I think this is the greatest way for Liv to completely get under Rhea's skin, to take everything away from her, as she said. And I want to keep seeing this for a bit because I don't think they need to rush into anything. I just want to keep seeing this, the background stuff happening,
Oh,
to
we need
make you wonder, like, what's going on here? That's what I want.
I need it too. I absolutely need it too.
I also find it hilarious that like Liv is going after Dominic when he's got that nasty mustache. It's like
yeah, everyone's making it's an homage to his real father, Eddie. Because
okay.
Eddie had that in '99 when he
I
was doing
know.
the. I'm not telling you. I'm telling the
Okay.
peeps.
Okay.
Eddie had not. You know this, but the peeps. Eddie had it in '99 when he just joined with the Radicals, and
Yeah.
he also had some sort of injury too. And he like if you know that era, like you can tell Dom is dressing very similarly.
Everything is like they're like the mullet is for
The
Rey
mullet
Mysterio.
is
Like, I'm not.
the
I
way,
mean Eddie
yeah.
Guerrero. Like
Well, the old school.
yeah, everything like a lot of what he does is like a tribute.
Very Latino heat. It's
Yeah.
very Latino heat, and the mustache is just a icing on the cake.
Yeah, it's that Dirty Sanchez. Yeah.
Did you see Pat McAfee reference that Ray called it a Dirty Sanchez like 5 times? He's like,
Well, yeah, of
courtesy
course
of
he
his
would.
father.
He
I'm
also
like,
talks about how he yeets all over himself. So, I mean, that
I
man
think that's
has
hilarious.
he has no filter. So,
Yes,
he really pushes the boundaries, which I mean,
you got to in wrestling.
sometimes it's okay.
Beautiful. So it makes it beautiful.
So let's move on to Drew McIntyre,
Oh,
and his feud with
yes.
CM Punk is continuing. And this time it's not one-sided because Punk was not at home. So Drew is pissed because he wasn't drafted until the 3rd round. What the hell is that? I agree, sir. I understand why he came out to the ring and was rightfully complaining because hello, what? So first off, he congratulates Punk for injuring him at Mania because he does in fact have a shattered elbow, which I'm just like, what the hell, man? Punk, really? Why? Yeah.
Why you gotta do that to my guy?
Like why? But he said, despite my elbow being all messed up, I taped it up and I'm here. And that is because I am DM Hunk. I am a real man. And I was like, yes, babe, you are. You know. And then Punk interrupts in the skybox, magically just shows up, calls DM Hunk a bitch, and then Drew tries to find him in the arena. So we get away from that for a while. He eventually gets to the skybox where Punk was supposedly standing, whatever. And Punk is not there. But he did leave him a nice gift, a nice parting gift, which was a signed 8x10. And then Punk comes out. He sits in the middle of the ring and he says that he is not going to be wasting anyone's time. He will be out there for less time than the 5 minutes and 46 seconds that Drew was champion. And I was like, you really want to hurt us, don't you, Punk? Phil, stop. It hurts. Someone's gonna cut that and cut it out of context. It's gonna be really weird. I'm just kidding. I'm not that famous. People won't do that. So he says that because Drew prayed for Punk to get hurt. That's why he hurt him back. So an eye for an eye, basically, which I was like, that's rude. He said he got drafted before Drew because he's better, basically, and because Drew spends too much time on Twitter. And I was like, you know what? Some people do, but Drew slings them out. Okay. Every tweet is a banger, like that one tweet that he sent to that one Wrestle Plug or something like that.
Yeah.
And he's like, why didn't you say this to him like in the arena? He's like, because they don't leave mics around the arena, you stupid Mark. And I was like, yes, Drew. He said that he is the best in the world in the ring, on the mic, and on commentary. He said losers hope for things to happen. They pray for them to happen, but winners make it happen. And when he is cleared, he is coming for McIntyre and he will make his life a living hell. So, I mean, this was a good segment.
It was very good. I loved every minute of this.
I'm glad that they brought Punk in at this point because I like what Drew's doing. Obviously, we talk about it every single week about how great he's doing and whatever. But I did think it was kind of like, okay, we need to see like what Punk has to say post Mania because we hadn't seen really anything from him. So I feel like this was the perfect time to get him involved, like on screen again, and reignite that again because Drew's been carrying it obviously because Punk's been injured. And now it's a little bit rough because Drew is also injured, so there's only so much that even he can do in Punk's absence. But this was like Drew's facial expression too, as like Punk is sitting there, Punk turning his back on him. Yes, it was thumbs up, bro. It was so good. I'm excited for what is to come because we now know that Drew signed a 3-year extension. So
he did.
Yeah.
He's not all elite, which
Thank
I am
God.
seeing. I'm seeing the tweets from people that were like, "Come home, Drew," and it's Drew Galloway's all elite, and it's like all these fantasy booking matchups. Oh, it's so funny. It's so funny.
Since when is that home though? Like what it went?
It's you know, perspective is subjective, Sarah.
All
perspective is subjective.
Then I guess we can talk about this. So Bronson Reed has inserted his 350-pound self. Okay, not 330. He's 350 now. That's what he told Michael Cole.
Big beefy dude.
He big meaty. He meaty man. Okay.
Big meaty man.
So he was having a match with Sami Zayn for the title, correct? It's for the title? Was it for the title?
Yes, it was for the title.
Okay.
It was.
Previously, earlier in the night, Sami did hit a haluva kick on Chad Gable. So keep that in mind. And so this match is happening, blah, 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 because Bronson Reed is always inserted in the Intercontinental Championship.
Obviously, he has to be.
Yeah, he's just always there. And the match ends early because Chad Gable interferes and hits German suplex and all other sorts of stuff on Sami. And so just fueling this match, there's feud even more, which I find funny because it's like, this whole feud started because Chad Gable lost a title match and then he's like still attacking him because he wants a title match. But it's like, you hate him because you lost the title match. So why should he give you another one?
Funny.
Like, it's like,
so good.
It's so, I don't know. It's kind of confusing. So I don't really know where it's going to go from here, but I feel like at least I can give credit to Gable for being hateable. Because he's doing a pretty good job.
He's very hateable right now. The one thing I would say about him is he looks like he's stiff, trying to be a full on heel. Like it's not natural for him. You can tell, but it's getting there. Like he just needs the confidence to just go full in with it because it is there. I fully believe it is there.
I am wondering like how they're going to keep going about it because we did see the rumors of him and the Creed brothers becoming a thing. I don't think that it's necessary. Like I think that it depends because that is very like niche, I feel like, for him to be like the leader of like a trio, you know what I mean? But it doesn't really make any sense in his feud with Sami Zayn because Sami doesn't have a group with him. So it's like, I guess if he was going after Alpha Academy, but like who would win? The Creeds and Gable versus the Alpha Academy. Like, are we, like, let's be real here.
Let's be real.
So,
who's gonna win this?
Like, as much as people would love it, because obviously it does bring back those nostalgic memories of Team Angle, I just don't know how much it really makes any sense right now. So we'll have to see how that works. But obviously Bronson inserted himself into this, and we're going to have to see how that pans out because they might end up doing like a triple threat or something. I don't know, because obviously Bronson's going to be pissed about him interfering in the match. So
1,000%. I think they'll do a triple threat at Backlash.
What's crazy is Backlash is this weekend.
I know that.
I had to look it up because I was like, really? That was the go home show for Backlash. Like I thought it was
It's
later.
because the drafts.
Yeah, it was
got
like
fucked
my
up.
mind is so messed up that I just was like, oh my god, I can't believe it's this weekend. So I had totally forgot. But anyway, okay. Last but not least, let's talk about Liv Morgan versus Nia Jax. And the main thing from this is that Liv finally gets a win, because it's something that people have been
Neither
bringing up
win.
for the most part is that Liv, since Liv came back, that she hasn't won a single match. And I think, we talk about wins and losses and the importance of them, and I say it always varies. It depends on who we're talking about and the situation that they're in currently as a character, like how much it actually matters, blah blah blah. And I think with Liv, it does matter, because the basis of her story is like to be
Revenge.
on a revenge tour and like to be
Yes.
going for the title, so it's like her then having all these matches with like some of the bigger names in the women's division right now, and then losing it like is not a good look for her, because it's like, okay, then why should you be on Becky's radar? Like, why would she do anything other than you just being kind of like a mosquito, like you're always around and she can't get rid of you? Like that would be the reason why she'd give you a match, because it's not like you losing matches is your way of earning
No,
a title
exactly.
match. So I think that it was a good idea for her to win not over Nia on Nia's last night on Raw, and especially with how the show started, like everything made sense, and it made sense for her to finally get this win over Nia. Then it has Becky take her a little bit more seriously too, because she just took down a lady that's like 2 times her size. So I say it's about time.
It's about damn time. She finally took down Nia, who's been a thorn
Mm-hmm.
in her and Becky's side for so long. And
Mm-hmm.
now that she finally took her down, it's like, okay, you beat Nia Jax, the irresistible force, as she called
Yeah.
herself. Like, now let's move on to bigger and better things, and that's getting that title. So I do like that decision. Finally, a good one.
Yeah, I think this was a good move. I mean, I would have liked it to come sooner for Liv, just like I think that, like she could have gotten a win a lot sooner than now. But I guess better now than never, because especially with Nia leaving, it's like, all right, sure, like if that's what it's going to be, then that's what it's going to be. Obviously they're already showing that they're going to have her and Becky have something going on. So if this is the way that it's going to officially start, at least she's starting it with a win.
Yeah, exactly. Starting it off on a hot note.
Mm-hmm.
Finally.
But yeah,
Raw.
that was Raw. So I don't
That
know if
was
there's
Raw.
any comments that you want to get to.
I mean, Javon Evans Cutter is kind of crazy good. If you guys want to go see that, Drew did say that if he was married, he would take his woman, which was really
Whose
funny.
woman?
CM Punk's.
Oh my god, he would take
said
AJ?
Yeah, he said he took
No,
him.
DM Hunky would take me. How dare
Yes.
you?
You
Come
just
on, we
gotta.
could have beautiful Scottish babies. Come on.
It's keeping in the bloodline, really.
I'm
Is what
like
we're trying to
30
do.
something, 30, almost 40% Scottish, okay?
WWE finally some great for Liv. Keep doing what they're doing. Don't mess it up.
I do think that this is going to be like the biggest run of her life. Like if they do this right and have her, maybe lose the first time to Becky and then finally like win against Becky, maybe they'll have like a stipulation where everything is, looking like it could be in Becky's favor or something like that. I feel, and then couple that with hopefully some sort of love story or something with Dominic, like the heat this girl could get. She could be like the biggest female heel on Raw if they do this correctly. And I really hope that they do. And then that way they also bring Rhea back and she'll be like the biggest baby face right next to Becky on Raw. So it feels like a win-win for everybody.
Feels like fate. Feels like fate is coming.
That's why I was
together.
saying like sometimes these injuries really suck, and I'm never saying like they're good, but like a lot of the time someone benefits from somebody being taken out. It's like you don't wish for this to happen, but like this situation, if this is how it's going to go, how we think it's going to go with Liv and Becky and the title, then Liv couldn't have asked for a better situation after WrestleMania. Like
really
like
couldn't.
Yeah, you didn't get that Mania match, but girl, you could be profiting big time because Rhea got injured. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Forget exactly. So that's all we got for you guys here in this episode. We'll be back tomorrow. We doing tomorrow? You want to do? Can you
I
do
think
tomorrow?
so, because I think I'm gonna get my nails done on Friday. So
okay, good. Treat
also,
yourself, girl.
I know it's been a month. We won't be here for SmackDown Breakdown because Backlash is on Saturday, and I think it's at a weird time.
1 o'clock.
Okay, so it's 10 o'clock a.m. my time. So, yeah. I mean, I guess we might be able to do something.
Either night or afternoon Sunday.
Yeah, we could probably. Oh, Sunday. You mean Sunday, not Saturday?
I could do Saturday. I don't know. I don't know what my
Sunday's fine. I don't care.
Yeah,
but depending on how Backlash goes, we'll decide if we want to talk about it. Because like if it's not that
Yeah.
interesting, then like I don't care about talking about it. But there's probably no point in talking about SmackDown either because it's not going to be that great because the rosters are not locked until next week anyway. So like whatever happens this week is not going to be like super amazing. So
exactly. So we will be back tomorrow and then probably Sunday for the Backlash recap because I got to see my peeps. Sarah, do you know that like I knew 7 people in my like actual circle of people that went to Italy for a week, like at least multiple weeks over the past month.
Oh wow, no.
So they're coming back this weekend. And I got and I've been seeing people. I have to see people because I've been working my little rear end off, and so have you.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to go out and explore and have fun before we talk about wrestling. Go follow us in the links in the description below on all the social media platforms. I changed my Twitter name to Patty_Pitts. All right, Patty with D's.
Okay, I'll have to change that.
So go check that out and then hit that subscribe button and bell notification to know every time we go live and post. That's all I got for you guys. We'll see you tomorrow, same time. God bless. Remember that you can do it. All you got to do is try. We will see you tomorrow. Yes, keep on spinning.